Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, live from Studio 630 in the burbs of Chicago. It is time now for another episode of Outside the Box. Outside the Box. With your hosts, Oz Osborne and Pee Wee Taylor.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Outside the Box XB Video Podcast.
We made it to number 5.
Number 5.
We are 2 away from 7.
Yeah, and then they say 7. If you can make 7, you got it, right?
I don't know why. That's what
Is that what they say?
That's what Kibby and Finnegan said, but I don't know if that means anything.
I don't know. I like their podcast a lot, but so let's just hop right into it. Let's talk about cars. Let's talk about your car.
Talk about my car?
Yeah.
Let me get on here and, of course, now, there we go.
Yeah. There you go.
So, Raylan box is still in the garage, but we've got the creature now. You can kind of see in the background here, I've done a little bit to it. I only had the thing, well, shit, it'll be 3 weeks on Tuesday.
Is it already 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, put the wheels on, got headlights and taillights from James Yorko. I got to thank him. He's got the taillights on loan until I can find my LEDs, but
They look good.
I'm really liking them.
They're nice. They're sonars.
I think I may like them better than mine. So
I think so too.
yeah, they are sonars, and I'm definitely digging the headlights. I did have to figure out how to adjust the freaking high beams.
And the high beams up in the trees. It wasn't even on the road. It was great.
Crazy. And then you can also see right there, I finally finished that gauge cluster, which was in the Raylan box, and I just finally fixed it and re-cleared it. So we did that. Couple little things, just kind of cleaned it up, took the emblems off and whatnot, painted the Scion emblem black on the front.
And you pinstriped it, which looks pretty sharp.
Yeah, and then put a bunch of stickers on it. And then, just a second here, we'll suspense. And then
Hold that. We'll come back to that.
You got a little more here. We did have a project that we started on yesterday. As you can see here, it's a little bit lower to the ground.
Just a little bit.
And we'll talk about that.
We'll get to that in a second. But I have been working on the XA. I replaced the oil pan, which was smashed and leaking because of the previous owner. I'm going to show everybody real quick here. See that? See that crease? Yeah.
That's fixable.
It's fixable, but what was happening was that because it was smashed so hard and it creased it, the flange that bolts up to the block, it was like kinked, and it was just enough that when it would get hot and then get the oil pressure up, it would leak.
But
But he hooked me up with one from his attic, and I bolted that up. Wasn't too bad to do, so if you have to do it, it's not hard to do. It's a little messy, not a big deal.
A little bit more than oil change.
The other thing I figured out, which I figured out a while ago, but it didn't become an issue until Saturday. There's no battery tie down in it, and I'm on the highway. I hit a huge, they're doing road work on the expressway, and there's like a step. It's like a 2-inch step, and I just pounded this thing. The whole car shut off because the battery lost contact.
And yet we didn't fix that.
No, which I should probably fix it before I leave.
I got to find that tie down.
It only did it like that time. I've never seen it happen before that, so I got to fix that. And highway driving is okay. You're pushing it. If you're going past 70, that thing's really putting forth a lot of effort, but...
Well, some of that, it does have a bad exhaust, what I call an exhaust donut. What do they call it? The exhaust flange?
Yeah, it's the piece from the exhaust manifold
going to the header. Going to the exhaust, whatever.
To the cat, right?
It's definitely leaking there. That's actually
sounds like a lawnmower. That is a good shot of it.
But then what happened was, going back into our Saturday project here, which we were going to record because we wanted to do tech, and that's what this is going to be. But we did find out that the lighting outside sucks, and we were not set up for it.
Horrible lighting. We had a hard time with the camera, and we just were like, you know what? Let's just do it. Because I think at this point, a lot of our viewers are avid enough to, figure it out.
Yeah,
to do
I
it.
think
It's
you
not
guys-
horrible to do. It's really not. It's not the hardest car I've ever swapped suspension on.
But we will go into it a little bit here in a few minutes because we did talk about it. But we did that. We actually, well, I guess we could just go right into it now.
You're right.
Basically, it worked out pretty good. I bought a set of lowering springs from Daniel. He
Thanks,
hooked
Dan.
me up. Thanks, Dan. Worked out good that Pee Wee with the oil pan the way it was and where his roads are, they're a lot worse than they are down here by me.
Yeah, the roads by me are absolutely brutal, and it's just, and that, and the other thing, I don't know if I'm just a bigger dude than the guy who had it before me, but he had it cranked all the way down, and it was rubbing, and it had wheel spacers on, and that was not working for daily commuting.
So he decided that he wanted the coils, or excuse
I
me,
wanted the lowering springs.
the lowering springs, and he was going to take the coilovers that he had on the XA and we were going to put them on my XB. And that's what we ended up doing, and it worked out pretty good. As we're doing this, I'm sitting here thinking I'm working on railing box back in the day, thinking that the car's still, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old.
Yeah.
And we're looking at 12 years now. So
Right, that's the thing we're forgetting now.
we go to bust it loose for the camera, the front strut on the driver's side on the XA, and it didn't want to come off.
Oh, we're running, we're pulling, and here we go. I'm like, all right, grabbing the torch, grabbing the PV blast, we're soaking it down, we're heating it up. Finally, we got the impact going, and we got it to bust loose.
Well, and I forgot that I had the pressure or the tank here turned down for painting, so that was why it wasn't.
Yeah, I'm
kind
like,
of
why is this thing not chugging? And then you're like, oh, here, try this. And then we kicked it into high gear, and
So that worked.
Got
We
it
got it
together.
off. And like we said, most of you guys have pretty much lowered a vehicle before. It's not hard. For those of you that don't, the two things that we got to bring up is you don't have to take the cowl off.
we have tips. Yeah, you don't have to take the cowl off. It takes a little more finessing because you got to reach the wrench and get it, but you don't have to
Well,
take the cowl off.
The top bolts in the top of the strut.
Right.
You take them loose. Once you go back down, lower or get them off the knuckle at the bottom, pull the two bolts out of there. You can drop it down and then loosen those nuts and then fucking drop it down without taking the cowl off.
Yes, that's the best way to do it.
And then the other thing that was brought up, was it Dan or James that said it? Probably
You have
James.
to undo.
Yeah,
I don't
you
remember,
have to
but they
bring-
said you had to undo the sway bars,
Yeah.
and you don't.
Which,
We figured out a different way to do it.
if you have sway bars, some of you don't, the sway bars will hold both of the control arms up, and
Just enough to be in your way.
it's not wanting it to go back down. And this is only if you're going to be putting lowering springs on, or going back to stock. What we ended up doing was we just grabbed a big bar and stepped on it and pushed down.
Big
and-
giant pipe, and we
Push
got
down.
it on the control arm, and you step on it, and it pushes, and then somebody has to stand there and steer it in, and you slide your pinch bolt through, and it works perfectly if you don't want to take the sway bar off. I probably should have replaced the sway bars because mine are toast.
Have you ever taken a sway bar off of one of those?
I
No,
did
sway
one
bar.
on my
You wanted
Taurus,
the links.
and
The sway bar
my
links,
Cutlass.
not the sway bar.
right. No. I mean, I meant to say the links.
Because the
yes.
sway bar on those,
Dude, you got it. It's
I cut them off at Railing Box. Because
Yeah, because you got to pull the motor out to
you
get
got
to
to drop
those,
the
right?
engine cradle to take it out.
Oh,
so,
fuck that.
but yeah,
Fuck all that.
So that's that. You guys can do it. That's a couple tricks that we had, and I'm sure there's some others out there. If you guys got anything, you can throw them down below and help anybody else. What else we got, Pee Wee? We got to talk about some calendars.
We got to talk about the calendars. And if you're watching this and you have not ordered your calendar yet,
Sorry.
you're out of time. Today was the last day, which is Sunday, the 23rd. Yeah, today was the last day. So if you're watching this on Monday, you're a day late and $1 short. So, I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. He's been warning everybody, so.
Yeah,
you know.
and we got to thank Wick for that. He's been doing a lot, and
Yeah,
he went
he's
through a lot for
yeah,
this.
it's
And
a lot of work.
we got to thank you for that, brother. I know you went through some shit this year, and hopefully we can make it work for next year. We just got to get sales up and whatnot, and we're not concerned about the paper. We just want to see the cars. So the next thing we want to bring up is Bovagon, which is kind of interesting because I don't know if you saw my posts on Instagram. We did have, they made us a freaking flyer that put us as an official sponsor.
Yes, that was very cool.
That was really cool because we
Yes.
all look up to Box Life. So I think they're probably one of the
I think they're one of the hottest Instagram pages. Do they do a lot on Facebook? It's mostly Instagram I follow.
I got them on Facebook too, but
I got them on
don't see as much
Facebook,
there.
but I mainly follow Instagram. But they seem to be, they've got the highest subscribers.
So if you guys aren't, look them up on Instagram, Box Lifestyle, and you can see their stuff. But they've got their show coming up. What is it next? It's the 29th, which is
29th,
Saturday.
which is next Saturday. I'm going to give you some details. From what I understand, you should bring an easy up in chairs because there is little shade, from what I've been told. Day of registration is $25 by 11:30 in the morning. Non-competitors, if you want to bring it and not compete, it's $5, but it's got to be clean and ready to go when you get there. If you are a VIP or pre-registration, you are at 9:30 or between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. Spectators are free, so even if you just want to go out and support and spectate, that's free. There's stuff for kids to do. He's going to have a bounce house and some other stuff. What else do we have? Oh, and we have koozies for sale.
Yes.
He's going to be selling our koozies.
We've got a prototype here that we got to thank Motivar Concepts for. Steve Ball down there.
Steve Ball hooked it up.
He threw these out to us. These are the prototype ones with our somewhat old logo. And, he threw these at me just because, we sit here and we drink beer and this. And
Yeah, we do.
and,
Except today, I'm
we
not
got
drinking beer
to.
today.
Is this the same as like being in the band and wearing the same shirt?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm
but
gonna
it's
run
fine.
it. So anyway, but yeah, he's doing that, and we actually have a run of the one with the new logo with the drips on it, which is our logo, and I got to change it in the
new one.
intro. But we've got that. They're white. They've got that. We're selling them for $3 down there. If you're there, we'd appreciate it if you bought them. The money goes to this. All the money from hats, shirts, or whatever we sell is going right back into here. It's not
Yes.
lining our pockets.
We're not getting rich off this. Like, we're not making any money. Like, any income we receive is going to improve what you watch.
Right,
So,
and I threw the money out for them. I got to thank Steve for that. He then sent them
thank
down
you.
there for us. The guys down at Box Lifestyle are going to sell them with their tent. If you're getting one of their shirts, these will be there too, so you can get them. And like I said, all that money goes back to probably going to be going towards software for us, so we can do this, so you can see things a little better and a little clearer. So,
Yes, that's what we're going for. So that's our shout out for Motivar, who does everything else. He does shirts and
yes, and we did bring him on as a full sponsor, so we got to thank you, Steve, for that. He's going to hook us up with some other shit, I'm sure. It's going to be fun because we got both him and Darkside Embroidery that are our sponsors now.
We got hats.
We got
our hats.
this up here, Brian. Thanks, brother, man. The hats have been kind of interesting because we don't have them, but I'm going to explain that a little bit. The way we've been doing things is this: everybody likes a different hat. Okay.
yes.
We do them made to order. So look up Brian. Oh damn, that was a bag
Did
navigator.
you?
Did see
Yeah,
that?
I saw it. No, that was a bourbon.
Was it a bourbon? It looked
Yeah,
like
that was a
navigator.
GM. It wasn't a Suburban. It's a GMC.
All right. Anyway,
Whatever. It's fine.
the hats.
Yeah.
You don't like a flat bill? Don't get a flat bill. We don't want to keep you guys away. Go to Brian. He's got the logo. It's on this side of the hat, not on that side of the hat.
You can order it right through him.
Right through
and
him.
Tell him whatever
Pick
you
your
want
hat
and
out.
make it happen.
You want a trucker hat? You want a flat bill? Whatever you want.
Cowboy
Talk
hat.
to him. He can put it on there, and you get a hat. And that money then goes to us and goes into keeping this going along, which is kind of a thing that it's kind of hit the internet a little bit. I know Steve was pushing you guys really got to understand that there's us out here and we're trying to do something. We're not trying to get rich by any means, but we want to keep the culture alive, and sometimes we need your support. Like us, we're going out. Right after this, we got to go order our Bobagon shirts, so we've got that.
Right.
And hold on before I lose that. There we go. We're going to order our Bobagon shirts so that we can support those guys. And little money like calendars. they're $18. Buy one, buy two.
Dude, you can't buy a puppy calendar or like a muscle car calendar. It's like the same. It's not that much. It's not. I don't know what calendars cost, but they can't cost more than $20. Like it's very reasonable, and you get to stare at it all year.
And it's not just that.
You know?
It's okay. Yeah, I know. We all listen to the commercials on those things. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you don't do that,
there ain't no calendar.
Things disappear. You know, Wick's already saying there's no more calendar for next year, which I hope is not true. But you never know. I can't say I blame the guy.
I mean, we lost the Scion newsletter. We lost the Scion the Scion shows where they would actually host it. You know,
and it all goes down to support. Why did Scion pull out? Well, probably because I know I didn't go buy another Scion.
Lack of customer base. I mean,
I bought one and I was done. Then I bought a used one. I didn't go buy another one.
I bought one in 2014, so they don't have an excuse because I went out and bought a brand new one.
But that's my point. You know, if you want us to be here, and I'm not saying you have to, but you want us things to be here. You know, help us out. Support the other guys. Jimmy McDonald, right?
No.
Buy your bags from him.
You mean Jimmy Roberts?
Jimmy Roberts, sorry. Yeah,
Oh.
Jimmy Roberts.
Oh, yep.
Buy bags from him. Buy shit from Randode. Buy stuff from Weapon R Concepts. Buy stuff, keep it in.
Buy shit.
So that we can do it, and I'm a cheap ass too sometimes, but, I'm just trying to say we need to support this, push it all up, get it all together. We'll have more shows. We'll have more shit.
Right.
And we'll have more fun.
I did actually talk to Travis this morning, and
You talk too loud. I heard you all the way in the bedroom.
oh, I'm sorry. Anyhow, but he was telling me about management and getting quotes, and I think Jimmy's prices for management are pretty unbeatable. He can do it way cheap.
And that's
with decent stuff too.
And that's what's nice, man. To have somebody in here, and I know not everybody knows him, but hit him up. I think that anybody that asks for any bag parts or whatnot, it's boom automatically. It's him, Randode.
It's one of the two,
and that's it. That's where you go for that shit.
You got to pick and choose your products, understand what you're buying, but I mean,
God knows.
I have my preferences. We have what we like to buy from who we like to buy, but
that'll kind of bring us into the last thing we got on here. Something. It's funny because it kind of came about because he's talking to Travis and I'm kind of fucking around in the background and I hear what's going on and I'm like, and Travis is a Static guy and I'm not totally against Static, although I will say this, that I just put mine on Static yesterday, and I'm like,
fun fact. Do you have them handy? You don't have them handy. That's all right.
What are you looking for?
You get Racelands. You get the spring for the rear and that adjustable cup on the bottom. You don't need that cup. If you want to, you can not even put it in and drop it right down, and it will work.
Well, that was a problem. I kept looking at the back going, it's sitting too high.
That was the problem with my XA, because when the coilovers were on my XA, he had everything bottomed out, and the back sat higher. And I'm like, why does the back set higher? Does he have the back set higher? I look underneath them. I'm like, oh, no, he doesn't. I guess that's just how it is.
So I was looking at it, and I said, well, you know what? I'm going to pull them out, and it worked fine. But
it seems to be fine. We haven't had any problems. I'm sure someone will get on here and tell you that we're full of shit, that you can't do that, or the owners, whatever. Somebody will tell you not to do it. But
it works fine. But my point is I'm already wanting bags. And let me see. Got to get a hold of Randode eventually for some struts. We're going to talk about that. I got rear bag. I got rear bag mounts. I've got some other shit, but yeah, I'm already putting it together. So, but that kind of brings us to what I wanted to bring up because this whole static versus bag thing. Okay, and Kevin and I called you Kevin.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that that's his real name?
Yeah,
Kevin?
I have an actual name.
But anyway,
it's okay. I do both.
We're talking about how things are interpreted, and the fake low and all this shit, and it's I'm sitting here thinking about it. I'm going, this is how it works. Static guys, or maybe I wouldn't say static. I would say stance guys. The way you
can call it stance.
Way you guys look at low is you're looking at that wheel gap. Okay, the smaller that gap is the lower you
Well,
are.
yeah, you get the fitment where it's like all like, right, all
But
in
if
the
you're
business.
running 18s and you're running 15s, it's completely different at the rocker level. And the way
Absolutely.
I look at it is, I look at it from the rocker to the ground. And there's even another level to that where once you take that body kit off, now you've got that. So as I look at my thing with looking at the static guys, and they're saying, "Oh, you're fake low because you don't drive it like you
My
park
eyes
it."
are rolling behind my shades.
My thing is this: I can
So-
drive at 0. Can you? Crank that thing down, hit them fenders. But that's how I look at it. I'm not saying that way I look at it is better than your way. I'm just saying that's where we got to look at it as. There's a difference between how we look at it as far as low. You can measure from the rocker, you can measure from the wheel gap, you can measure from the roof line. There's
I've
always
seen
something.
people measure from the mirrors, but I don't know.
Well, the mirrors don't ever move.
That's true.
You know,
That's
because
true.
if you measure, it's like this. If you're going to measure a roof line, you could go look at Kalani's, and he's got he's got a huge chop top, and the roof level's down. But
Yeah.
I'm old school. I look at it as the rocker to the ground, and that's how it always was for me. I understand. Stance guys are a little different, and I don't understand pushing the wheels out because, to me, the tuck looks better. But I guess you guys.
It's a style thing, and it's fine. Like, stance is cool. I've seen some really nice stance stuff, but like, I don't need some stance guy telling me that I'm wrong. I don't want some stance guy telling me that he's somehow lower than me or that, he's on some type of a pedestal because I ride it how I park it. That argument is horseshit. I'm tired of hearing it.
The thing is,
don't buy into that crap.
It's nothing more than the Ford versus Chevy guys, is what it is. It's a modern.
That's a
version of it.
stupid argument too.
Well, but that's how it is.
I like Chevys,
I'm faster. I'm faster than your car. I'm lower. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We're all gonna
It's
look
the
at.
whole.
I just thought I would bring it up.
It becomes money talks, bullshit walks when it comes to performance. But
yeah, I just thought I'd bring it up. I thought it was kind of interesting, and there's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with
we're
whatever
all
you
low,
want to do.
but-
Just don't tell me I'm wrong. That's all I got to say to that.
Okay,
Just don't tell me I'm in the wrong.
but you're wrong, Pee Wee.
Okay. I'm wrong half the time, so it doesn't even matter.
I'm wrong. But anyway, so what we're doing here, guys, is we're going to change this up. We got 21 minutes here.
We're gonna run this a little short today.
We're going to run this a little different because we want to try to get some tech in. And right now, I know what we're going to do tech-wise is probably a little, I would say, the first word that comes to mind is infantile. I wouldn't say that. It's
No,
just basic.
I mean, it's at an introductory level, maybe. It's something that's like,
I like that.
if you're not, no, I mean, it's not I don't want it to be a derogatory thing. Like, if you never painted brakes and you want the good way to do it, you can do it.
And we're gonna start out with something like this, and we're gonna go. I'm talking to my buddy Ross Commando. He's got a XB that I've bagged a while ago, and he kind of
God, that was a long time ago.
lost interest in the scene, and I'm trying to bring him back. I actually hit him up and said, "Hey, you want to get rid of that air ride?" And he's like, "I don't know." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I felt like an ass." And then I'm like, "Well, maybe if you don't want to sell it, maybe you can
no. You
get
can
it
say
down
no.
here, and I'll do a video on how to do it, and we'll go through air ride on it, because some of you guys don't have the money to go out there and buy a fucking airlift freaking management set.
If you can afford it and you can make it work, I'm for it. I think it's cool, but I like valves. I like that if it breaks, I can fix it.
Even so,
it's a little dinosaur. I run analog gauges. I don't run digitals because I had digitals and I simply just didn't like them.
The big point I
I
have
like
is
the
that
lag.
we'll go through it and we will talk about things, and I will tell you what happens if your valve block freezes and you can't get it to work and you
I've
got to
had
get
it
home.
happen.
We'll go through all that shit because I taught Pee Wee how to do it, and that's how I want you guys to go. There's a lot of, air ride is always scary from people that have no idea. You don't know. And we'll go through stuff and show you what it takes and how it works.
And yeah, it does take more maintenance. And the other thing that static guys will do is they'll be like, "Oh, the air and it leaks and it, this and that." I'm like, okay, yeah, but you got, as long as you maintain it and stay on top of it, which isn't hard to do.
I'll tell you, the big thing with that is this. I drove a bagged and bodied that's right, the XB Raylan box.
The
I
only
drove it.
bodied
I
one.
drove it daily after it was bodied, and drove it through the Chicago winters.
Which are brutal if you've never been here.
I don't know if it's worse in Canada or what. I'm sure, but
yeah.
it's pretty bad here. And I drove it through the winter that way. And I'll tell you, the biggest thing that you have to understand, and I'll tell you right now, I'm against the whole moisture trap thing. I think moisture traps are fucking shit, and I'll tell you exactly why. For example, the setup that was on Ross's, he bought it from another friend of mine, Joe. And Joe had problems with it, and the reason he pulled it off was because they kept freezing. He had moisture traps on it, and it still fucking froze up.
I think the better thing than moisture traps is tank drains. I think tank drains make more sense to me.
You all have a tank drain. It's still not going to change anything. You could drain.
I think, well,
you
could have it freeze up. I mean, with my tank, all the moisture lands at the bottom, and my valves, or all my ports,
It doesn't matter
go out.
because
My ports are aimed
when you're
down.
compressing air,
Wait a minute.
there's always going to be water. My air compressor over here has water, and I haven't drained it in a while, so I'm sure there's
I got
always a
5
tank
gallons.
drain.
5
And
gallons.
even if you've got water traps, there's still going to be water in there because them compressors, when it gets hot, condense air and it makes water. So it sits in that tank. I think Dan had problems with it. He had some. I think he does have a moisture trap on it. He still had water in the tank.
I mean,
But my thing is this: you can go out. You go to a freaking truck stop, a truck supply store.
Napa sells it.
You can get
They
the
do.
air brake antifreeze.
Yep.
I call it ether. I don't know if it is ether or not.
It's not. I don't think it's ether. It might be ether based, but I think there's other stuff in it too.
But you take that, you pour it in there. Dude, I went 3 years without a freaking valve freezing. Not a
I cannot say the same, but I did it last year before the season. You take your leader hose off. You put a little bit in the check valves. I put a little bit in the tank, which is hard. It's hard for mine to hold the antifreeze in the tank because my ports face down. So anything you put in there drains out eventually. Like my system, I don't think it even holds moisture because if my ports on my tank face down,
Why do
I
the
fill the
ports face
bags
down?
and dump the bags, it's gonna push most of the moisture out, wouldn't it?
Possibly, but I don't know.
But either way, I put the antifreeze in, and I think it's enough to just put a coating on everything. And I didn't have any problems, but everybody's setup's different.
You should be able to get away with it if you do it once a year, especially when the winter's coming.
Depends how
You'll be
often
fine.
you're driving and you're airing it up and down too.
But-
I think that makes a difference.
I don't know. That was something we didn't really necessarily get into. But anyway, we're going to go. We're going to do some work. And then we're going to come back, do some shout outs and maybe some stupid shit. And then we will
We do what we want.
we'll go from there. So we will see you guys. What's up, guys? So we're going to start our tech article here on something a little simple, but maybe something that we can give a few tips and tricks on. So we should start out doing some brakes. We're going to do a quick paint job on them. Now, we got freaking drums on the back. Sometimes drums are a bitch, okay? If you can't get these off, you can sit there and beat them and say a bunch of 4-letter words. I've done it. But then you can go, oh, wait, I can get my bolt bin out. Climb out, get your bolts. What you do is you've got these 2 holes here. Thread them in. Like that. Then what you do is you just drive it down in, and it freaking uses that as a pry bar type of thing and pushes it off the freaking hub. So we got them off. Didn't even have to say any 4-letter words. So we got those off. So what I want to start off doing is I got myself a wire brush. These have been around for a while. You'll probably get a better look if you actually got brand new ones. They're not that expensive to do. Obviously, I didn't think ahead, so I'm going to use these because you can still, these ain't too bad. I'm going to hit them here with a wire brush just to knock off some of the rust here a little bit. And I'm not going to get too crazy with it. It's just taking off the scale. Now you could also hit this with a little bit of sandpaper, This is going to be one of the only things that I've done where I say you don't have to sand it. This stuff sticks pretty good. Now, as far as paint, you can use just about anything on this. My personal favorites are automotive paint because I have it around. You can go to the store and get high temp paint, but pretty much any automotive paint will work. Doesn't have to be high temp. The drums will get a little warmer. I've done it where I haven't had a problem until I accidentally left the e-brake on and they popped off. So we're just going to run over this really quick. And all I'm really doing is taking the stuff that's kind of flaky around the edge off. The rest of it will look pretty good. Now, if you wanted, you could go and take a primer and prime these. But with this, I don't think we're going to have that big of a problem. As far as primer goes, Duplicolor primers work great. You can't. The reason I'll bring up Duplicolor is if you're going to use an automotive clear like I do, those will actually not interact with clear. Well, I shouldn't say that. I use PPG products, so using the DuPont with a PPG, you're pretty good. Other product lines, you may have some problems, but that's pretty good for there. So that's how we're going to get the fronts or the rears prepped. Now we'll go ahead and go to the front, and I'll see you in a minute. All right, guys, we got the back ready. It went pretty easy. The fronts are equally as easy. Obviously, it's a little bit different because we can't take everything and pull it apart. Well, you can if you really wanted to, but I'm not going to get into freaking bleeding the brakes and all that again just because of that. So what I did was I went ahead and took it apart. We got 2 bolts here. If you've never done brakes, you got 2 bolts. Pull the caliper off. Then what I did was I went ahead and took the caliper mount off after I pulled the brakes out. Took that off, pulled that off, pulled the rotor off. The same way, you got your 2 bolt holes right here. You can do the same as the back if it doesn't want to come off. I went ahead, put it back together. The main reason for that is this stuff's going to hang. I've painted it apart. It's a pain in the ass. So what I found was, go in the house, steal the aluminum foil. Make sure you put it back so you don't get in trouble if you got a wife or girlfriend. I got in trouble a lot for that. Aluminum foil is great because I can take and I can just wrap up what I want and cover it and it'll stay. Works great for just about anything that you want to cover up and paint around. And I'll tell you what, I think aluminum foil is cheaper than going and buying some 3M tape. Now, we're not going to go completely crazy because obviously there's going to be cracks and crevices and stuff, and it doesn't really matter if I get it on the boot because it'll come off and you don't see it. You can even do it with the brake rotor on if you really wanted to. Alright, I got a little bit. I'm going to try. Get in there. Yeah, maybe that's not going to work. I thought so. So there's a little boot in here. I'm just going to wrap it around here. Obviously, this is not for a freaking 100-point show car we're doing for a cool street car. Obviously, you can take them apart. You can powder coat them as well. Damn, I didn't think about that. Okay, we're pretty much good. Now, I'm going to go over here. Grab a blanket. I'm not used to having a painted car. Stuff slides off. Get it in there. And I'll play with it a little bit more, and then we'll come back and I'll shoot some paint on it. The only thing I think I'm going to have to worry about getting overspray on now is the microphone. I just thought of that as I hit record. Anyway, we're ready to go. We got our VHT. I'm using Grabber Green engine enamel. This stuff gets pretty good, hot. It'll go up to 550 degrees. Your brakes aren't going to do that. So you should be good. Like I said, you can use other stuff. I've used factory paint and just sprayed it on there, and it's worked fine. I've done it on Ninja blocks as well. So we're going to make sure this is shook up pretty good. As I say that, the freaking thing doesn't want to spray. Why is this not spraying good? Well, you gotta like it when the freaking nozzle's no good and you bought it right out of the box. But anyway, you get the idea. I'm gonna go ahead and put another nozzle on it because I got other ones in there, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to go from there. So I went and grabbed another nozzle out of another can. Obviously it's spraying a little better. Be careful when you're spraying. You don't want to get it too heavy and have a run. Happens to everybody, you'll see it. But you can see it goes pretty easy, and we'll let that flash, come back. You probably want to put on about 3 coats to make sure you've got it. You're going to work yourself around. In here right now, I can see that I haven't got it on the inside of this hole, so I'm going to want to let that dry, because if I keep hitting that, I'm more likely going to hit the outside more than I do the inside, so that'll allow that to run, and you'll end up having more problems. So let it flash a good 10-15 minutes. You can usually test it. Come up here, put your finger. Well, obviously that was from when I sprayed it before, but you can test it by hitting it. If it shows up on your finger or it's just a little bit sticky, that's perfect. That's when you want to spray it, because if you let it go for a couple hours, especially when you're running the high temp stuff, you have to spray this all at one time. You can't let this skim over and come back. If you do, it's going to attack itself, and then you got to strip the whole thing down, which is a big problem with some of this. So that's something to think about, but that'll give you a good idea on how to do this, and then you just work yourself around. I'm going to do the brake rotors as well. On the brake rotors, you can tape these off. You don't really have to. You can spray it. You'll get the overspray on here. Obviously, your brakes are going to take it off. No big deal. So just so you know, and we'll come back and we will talk about clear coat. All right, guys. So I went ahead and reassembled it. It's not exactly perfect, but you know what? We've got a wheel going over it. It's going to look beautiful. Now, you can go back over it and clear it if you want that high gloss look. This has got a satin sheen to it. It's kind of what I wanted, so I didn't even do anything. Now, you can rattle can it. You can go back over it with automotive clear and clear it. That'd be the most durable. Another thing you can do is, if you got it on the boot here, which I did, just hit it with a little lacquer thinner right after you get done painting it. It cleans right off, and you don't even know that it was ever there. So that's that. There was something else I was thinking I was going to remind you, but I can't remember what the hell it is now. But there is a little bit, when I went to put it back together, I saw there was a couple spots that needed to be touched up, so I picked the caliper off and sprayed it a little bit and put it back on. But that gives you a basic idea on how this is going to work. The drums, you just put them right back on. We assembled this. Make sure you get everything tight, and you should be ready to go. And now we'll go ahead and put the wheels back on it, and we'll show you the finished product. Okay, guys, so I got it back together. We still got our overspray here. Trip around the block, it'll be gone. Looks pretty good. I'm very happy with it. I think our paint job's probably actually better than the wheels are right now. I got to get on that next. But that's the idea behind it. We wanted to do something simple just to see how it went as far as going with this. There are other ways. I did do the other side a little different. I took this piece off, painted that separate, and then took the aluminum foil over everything, hung it over the rotor dust shield, and then painted it that way. It worked out even better that way. I didn't show you because it was on the dark side of this and it was harder to get the camera over there, but you can do it. And it worked out really well. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I think they're actually a little too brighter than I was thinking they were going to be, so I may have to put some more green on here. But that's it. Now you flip back to us into the studio. Oh, wait, we're still in the studio. This is where we would normally sit.
This is the studio.
Anyway, we'll get back to us. We're going to do our shout outs and a little bit extra and call it a day. So get back in the garage.
All right, we are back from a little bit of tech.
Are my hands dirty? No, they're not.
Mine are kind of dirty, but that's from
They're
earlier. But
dirty.
like,
I don't know.
anyhow, so we want to do more tech. Rando is going to be sending us some product so we can do tech on that. Maybe some fender tabs, some metal ones, which I might need some for my XA.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my bumpers are falling off because it's had a hard life.
And I
And
told
such.
him that whatever he sends us, we're going to do tech on
Whatever
that.
he sends, we'll do something. We'll do whatever we can with it. We want your feedback on tech, on what you want to see and what you want us to talk about. I don't want to do wheel specs because that's not, we explained that
We
previously.
will do that one video. but-
Well, yeah, But we want to, like, give us stuff you want to see us do. Like,
Maybe like a wheel bearing.
a wheel bearing would be good.
Yeah.
Because I think
I got to look
people
on
have to-
YouTube and see what I can
At this point, with how old everybody's car is, either somebody's already done it or they have to do it soon. With these things being 10 plus years old, it's about that time.
And bear with us on the tech. It's going to take
It's
a little
hard to do. I don't know if any of you ever tried to do a video and actually make it watchable, but it's like without proper gear and like having an extra person, it's a trick.
Yeah,
Like
I said,
we struggled yesterday, and I said, "The fuck with it. Let's just do what we're
the
doing."
main thing was lighting. It was like so
And the
hot.
lighting was terrible because we were outside and it was just blaring daylight. The camera is just whitewashed.
So we're going to try that because I know you guys have mentioned that you want some tech. You want to hear that, and it probably much better and more
Tech
entertaining
within
to watch.
reason. I mean, there's like some stuff like if you want to put an air intake on, we could maybe do something with that.
Yeah, but I'm
like
sure
if
it's
you want
better
me
than
to
us
show you
sitting
how
here
to
talking.
do, something really odd or specific or like,
Yeah. Well, and the sad thing is like
the worst we could do is say no.
the worst. The one thing is like we're talking about doing something. I'm like if we were showing how to put like rain gutters on, everybody's like rolling their eyes.
Yeah, I mean, if it's something, it's gonna be something that you may not know.
And that's why we want your feedback because it'll
Yeah.
kind of give us and
Yeah,
give us
I mean,
feedback
I
on
don't
anything,
know
guys.
everybody's skill set.
We hear you guys a little bit, and it's nice to hear feedback and to see
in
that.
general about anything
So
we're doing.
so go down there, leave us a message or a little thing
Down.
because I know some of you have, and if I don't check the whole thing on. I want to say Facebook. I know we're on
Well,
YouTube.
Facebook will do this shit where like somebody will message you and then you don't see it, but every once in a while I get a request and then you have to like accept it and it's like kind of in a hidden menu. So like I don't even know about them. But Instagram, you hit up Instagram, it goes right into your feed and pops up. It doesn't even have to be.
Yeah,
a
so if
public
you
thing.
guys want to get a hold of us, you got a message or something you want to go over, follow our outro, see our Instagrams, get on there, send us a message because it's a lot easier. You can do it down here in the bottom of the whole thing on YouTube, which I do check here periodically, but I'm on Instagram all the goddamn
Instagram
time.
is like straight direct. That's
So-
express messaging.
What did you do throwing that on the ground? Now,
Dude, that's the second time I dropped it. We got it balanced. It was not balanced
what else
properly.
we got to talk about?
I think that was about it. Just feedback and
We want to thank our
Word
sponsors,
tech.
guys.
Yes.
Motive R Concepts. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Koozies,
You got to get
shirts,
You want the koozies?
stuff.
You got to have a koozie to keep your beer cold while you're watching us, and you got to have a hat.
I don't
beer.
think I drink beer without a koozie.
No.
I don't. Yeah.
But Motive R, he's got those shirts. He does renderings. He does.
Toasts.
Yeah, the toaster shirt, which is kick ass.
I need a rendering. I'm gonna have to hit him.
He
up
does
for
the
a rendering.
renderings. He does quite a bit of shit. So hit Steve up at Motive R. The hoodies. He gave me another one. I got another one in the
another
mail.
one?
And it's fucking badass. It's so soft. Now I understand why my daughter loves it. It's hilarious. My daughter's a fashion plate. She wore it to school. The freaking
Oh yeah.
in Toastery Trust. She was like, I love this shirt. It's so nice and soft. So hit him up. Brian, like I said, he's got our hats. He can do pretty much anything. If you've got a logo of your
Yeah.
club or your whatever you're into, he can make it.
He can do anything you want. If you can, he can make some stuff for you. But if you have a logo or like a PDF file, right?
Yeah.
Like if you can make a vinyl sticker out of it, he can put it on a hat.
I'll
he
tell you-
does shirts too, but I think his thing really is like embroidery. But I think he'll do just like you could ask him. He does all kinds of stuff. But
This logo on this hat, okay? This was made from a paint file on the computer, and he took it and made it into.
the people
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah, that's dark. Step back.
But yeah, that's
So that's our hat. He can put that on whatever you want. I think he upholsters anything. He's
if
done
he can hoop it, he can stitch it. That's how he
headrests,
operates.
headrests,
Yeah,
backpacks,
headrest, seats.
whatever you need done.
Yeah.
Hit him up. He does stickers as well. So
He does
hit
vinyl
him
too.
up. Randode, obviously. We got Randode. We got to thank Randode for hooking us up with shit. He keeps us
Randode's
on
our
the low
first.
life. And if you want to go low, hit up Randode. It's the only
You
way
want
to
to go
go.
load, get the dode.
Lastly, we will go to me. We got Pee-wee's right here. Fucking
Yes.
Wicked Knob. Wicked
Looks
Knobs,
killer.
dude, we are fucking... I'll tell you right now. Wicked Knobs, this is how I'm funding my air ride. So if you want the creature on air, buy a shift knob. And,
You should show him the rack.
The rack is over there.
Yeah.
We got other shit.
They're behind me. No, wait.
Hold on.
Which way do I have to bring them out? Show the people.
We've got some shit going. And these are all made to order. This guy came to me. This is going on a Harley, a bobber. He wanted a Harlequin. He sent me a picture of something that he had tooled into the leather of his seat, which was basically this. So he showed me the thing. He's like, "Can you make me something?" And I said, "Yeah, here." And I sent him a picture of this knob bra, and he's like, "Yep, that's it." So this is going out to him. I've got like 4 other ones I'm working on right now, including
They're not quite done yet, but they all look really
and you
good.
can follow that on Instagram. Just hit up my Sir Lord Oz on Instagram, and we'll be good there. But like I said, all that money is going straight to freaking Bag the Creature. Shout outs. We got to thank Dan. We had a party for him. Or
Yes,
a
we
little
went
small
to
dinner.
Buffalo Wild Wings. It was a good time.
We had a good time there. We got to see him off. Dan, I got to thank you for the springs that are now in his car.
Yeah.
And I have a JDM bumper.
Laying in the yard.
Can you believe that? I got JDM parts. But I'm
Yeah,
going to put that
Mr.
on there. I
Anti-JDM,
talked about doing that in fiberglass, but I think I'm going to run that one. So I got to thank you for that, brother. James Yorko, we got to thank you big time for the trade for the lights. I got those taillights ready for you, brother.
He's I'm ready for him to come on whenever he's ready. He's
We want to have him on. He's good at. He built my taillights, and I'm already looking at
wiring and LEDs and sounds is his thing.
I'm already looking at my sonars, going, dude, I want those rings like you got now. So I'm gonna have to hit you up about that.
Yeah, he's got a lot of time
Who else we got to shout out? Oh, guys down in Vegas. Dan's going to be moving down there. What's he leaving the 24th?
Yeah.
So he's going down there.
Tomorrow.
I think he was. I think he's actually registered for a show already.
Yeah, he's already registered for a show, and it was funny because he's like, "Yeah, this show is way more expensive than shows here. I don't know if it's a venue thing or a Vegas thing or why. I don't know.
Whatever. But if you guys are
He's
in
already
Vegas,
registered. He didn't even move there yet. It's great.
if you go down, if you're in Vegas, hit up Dan. He's like, I know I've seen some other guys that are going to be out that way, and they're like, hey, we'll meet up. Hit him up. Obviously,
He's
it's
fun.
hard, it's
He's a lot of
hard being the new guy in town, but dude, he's a kick-ass guy, and we're really sad to see
You
him
can't
go.
miss that cowboy rolling into town. This big
sure.
purple people eater.
What else we got? Is there any
I
stupid
don't
shit
think-
going on?
Is there any stupid shit going on? Oh, I saw. You know what? I'd like to bring this up really quick, just because it amused me. That people were talking about TPMS sensors. This really doesn't have anything to do with anything, but it was funny. And they're like, "Oh, you need them." Like, I've had 3 sets of wheels that didn't have them, and you know how much money I've saved not buying them.
Yeah.
If you have a first gen, that doesn't even. This is irrelevant, but
You know, you can do that the old school way and get out with a tire gauge and check your air.
yeah, but then the idiot light shows up on your dashboard if you don't
I
have
got
it.
an answer for that. It's some electrical.
It's some electrical tape.
Put some of that on there.
I just ignore it. It's just part of the deal. Like it's just, I don't know. If you want them to spend the money, I know once you like, I'm not an expert on this. I know Greg Stoddard went through this, which he seems to know a lot. I'd like to have him on too at some point. But he explained like with certain tire sizes that you can run them, but if you start stretching tires, if you're into that, you sometimes can't, or you have to get them aimed a different way, like internally. But I don't know. You don't need them. I believe you don't need them. If you want them, go get them. If not, you can run them without them. It really doesn't affect anything. So
Yeah,
that's all I've got.
I think that's about it,
I
guys.
think that'll wrap it.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We may have to take a week off here because I really need to get this second gen painted.
Yeah, we gotta.
So we may end up not being here next time.
And if we do happen to, it's gonna be a short one like this, I think.
So I don't want to do it that way, but I have to get this car done because I got cars lining up. So we've got to get some shit going. But I
Yes.
thank you guys very much for everything.
Thank you
We
for
really
being-
appreciate it. We appreciate the love, and you have no idea how amazing it is to hear back from people. And
It
you
is.
know,
It's very, very heartwarming.
hit us up on Instagram and let us know how you like it because it seriously makes us work harder at doing this. And I know some of these episodes are going to be kind of lame and kind of boring. And if you've got ideas on how to get us pushed out to more people and more views, I would appreciate it.
XA people, we invite you to because mechanically it's the same.
Yes.
We've learned about, we drove each other's and like, you know,
Well, they're the same damn
side by
car.
side. They're the same.
So
Inside
we
they're
are
the
going to
same.
include you guys a bit,
We want
obviously.
to. I want to. But,
Shit, I had thought of something else and I completely derailed on that thought. But
oops.
yeah, we're going to try to build some more content and whatnot and let us know what you guys want. We appreciate all the love and everything. And I still can't remember what I was going to say. But thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
We will see you guys hopefully really soon. Until then, get out in the garage. And that's the wrong
Do
mouse.
something.
I do that every time at the end.
Oops.
I find the wrong mouse. Get out in the garage, build something, show us some pictures. We'll see you next time.
What up, y'all? Yeah, soundtrack, what's poppin', baby? Woo! Y'all ain't know, I go by the name of Lupe Fiasco, representing that first and 15. Yeah, and this one right here, I dedicate this one right here to all my homies out there grinding. You know what I'm saying? Legally and illegally. You know what I'm talking about? So, check it out. First got it when he was 6, didn't know any tricks. Matter of fact, first time he got on it, he slipped, landed on his hip and busted his lip. For a week he had to talk with a list like this. Now we can end the story right here, but shorty didn't quit, it was something in the air. Yeah, he said it was something so appealing. He couldn't fight the feeling, something about it. He knew he couldn't doubt it, couldn't understand it. Branded since the first kick flip, he landed. Labeled a misfit, a bandit. Cocoon, cocoon, cocoon. His neighbors couldn't stand it, so he was banished to the park. Started in the morning, one stopped after dark. Yeah, when they said it's getting late in here. So I'm sorry, young man, there's no skating here. And so we kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, coast. And away he rolled, just a rebel to the world with no place to go. And so we kick, push,